in my AI journey, I've very much got to the point where I use my AI model as my strategic thinker,
Oh
but
yeah,
also a little bit
talk
as my
about it.
therapist.
Yep,
Now we talked about ChatGPT already,
of
but we
course.
know there's Claude and Perplexity and Gemini and
Yeah,
Grok and Llama.
yeah.
But actually there's platforms now where you can utilize them all on one platform.
Of course.
And that's actually where I think, especially entrepreneurs, and those in like SME world
Yeah.
should really start to head,
Yeah.
where they have their own almost white label
Exactly.
AI platform that can access many AI models,
Yeah.
but is also trained on the knowledge data that makes their business their business.
Interesting.
The biggest technological shift of our lifetime is happening right now, and most people are either overwhelmed by it or completely ignoring it. Artificial intelligence isn't coming, it's here, and the gap between those who understand it and those who don't is growing fast. Marnie Wills is here to close that gap. She's an educator, a strategist, a builder, someone who's helping real people, small business owners, creators, and communities unlock the power of AI without losing their soul in the process. Marnie has worked behind the scenes with some of the biggest platforms and startups, designing systems that make emerging tech feel less overwhelming and more useful, breaking down the complex into the accessible. She's turned confusion into clarity. She's helping people save time, find their voice, and finally compete in a world that's changing faster than ever. In this episode, we break down the truth about AI, what it really is, what it isn't, and how to harness it before it rewrites your future without your permission. This isn't just a conversation about tech, it's a conversation about power, possibility, and the future of human creativity. This is one episode you don't want to miss. Can We Talk? Starts now.
What was your first encounter with AI?
Jasper AI.
Yeah.
And it was early 2022.
Wow, you're an early adopter, aren't you?
Yeah. And it came from an experience of hiring a copywriter to
Okay.
help me write copy to
Alright.
attract franchisees for my new franchisor option with my Sporty Minis company.
All right.
And she was such a lovely lady,
All
but
right.
honestly, I could not get her to give me what I thought I wanted. And I just think as humans, we don't really know what we want.
I mean, interestingly, I was reading an article by Steve Jobs, and he was like, with regards to like innovation, oftentimes humans don't know what they want until you give them and like, oh yeah, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's like the case of like chicken and an egg with innovation. A lot of times, like sometimes you need consumer insight to like to influence your innovative ideas, and other times like the other way around, you kind of like have to like give the consumers what they want for them to figure out, okay, we kind of want that, which is
Yeah.
quite interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what Jasper AI did for me. I could just talk back and forward, at a tenth of the cost, by the way, and that was my first experience.
Wow.
And then, ChatGPT came out and available to people at the end. It was November 2022. And from that point, I was hooked. But if I'm honest, it's been a massive journey because
Absolutely.
is there really an expert in AI, especially generative AI?
Yeah.
Because there's so much nuance about it and it's forever changing.
Absolutely.
But here's the thing, because I had a conversation this morning in a
Yeah.
women's group called the Digital Women, and someone was saying, well, there's not really any experts in AI yet. And I was like, well, I kind of think I am. Been playing around with it for quite a few years now.
Yeah, I mean, like,
I've been on the journey.
3 odd years now.
I've transformed my own business
Okay.
to 2 businesses. I've
Wow.
worked with other businesses. And at the end of the day, they say, and especially in sport with my sport background,
Yeah.
it takes 10,000 hours to be an expert.
Yep.
I think I'm almost there. The new memory update has come in on ChatGPT,
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
say you should go back through and kind of delete any chats you've had that aren't quite relevant anymore. And I'm like scrolling forever and ever and ever.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, I've asked some very, very random things. In my AI journey, I've very much got to the point where I use my AI model as my strategic thinker,
Oh, yeah?
but also a little
Talk
bit as my
about it.
therapist.
Yep. I think it's a very surreal experience really with ChatGPT, and I think that would just take me into the next question I'm going to ask you. So obviously you've represented England not once, twice in 2 different sports. That's touch rugby and netball. What was that moment like? Pulling the jersey on I mean, do you miss that huddle? Do you miss that life?
Gosh, I really do.
Do you?
I'll let you in on a little secret though. I still actually do
All right,
play England
exclusive.
touch rugby. I haven't been able to face retiring yet, so I
Yeah, it's
I
you
still,
don't leave that passion, do you?
yeah, it's a big identity change, which I'm going to need to use my AI model to help me transition out. I think, as yeah, I have to be really honest. The first kind of experiences were a little bit like, um, gosh, I'm super
Mm,
grateful to be putting this jersey on, and like, how did I get here? Like
mm,
a little bit of imposter syndrome, I guess.
yeah.
Definitely. But I think I felt a little bit like a trader,
Is
because
it?
I'm from Australia, and
Okay, yeah.
I'd always done competitive sport and had hoped to play for Australia at some point.
Okay.
But I actually wasn't that good at, or not good enough for an Australian team, and here I am
Wow.
in the UK representing England. So I think I felt like a little bit of a trader.
Mm,
But then it's like, next job, let's just get on with it.
mm,
Like, you've got this experience, you've got this opportunity.
yeah,
How do you get the best out of it?
absolutely.
And yeah, I was lucky enough to still be going and still do almost anything to put on a
Mm,
jersey now.
What was the most memorable experience from that part of your life that you still hold dear to?
Um, oh gosh, it's definitely the big games.
Mm.
So for netball, we had a world champs in Australia in 2015, and we were playing South Africa in like a
Oh,
knockout
that's a good
round.
team.
Yeah,
They're big.
really
They're,
good.
they're big on rugby in South Africa.
Yeah, yeah. Well, this was for netball, but they're very good at netball as well.
Mm,
And yeah, it those big games. I don't know. I seem to kind of thrive in those big games. I think the
yeah,
extra
the
pressure.
adrenaline and all of that. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. So that was probably my most memorable for netball. And then I think there's been so many for touch rugby.
Of course.
But I think it would be winning our first ever bronze medal
Wow.
in the 2009 World Cup in Malaysia.
Wow.
And I think it was even more bittersweet because it was horrendous playing
Mm,
conditions. Like,
wow.
one of our games, surprisingly, against Singapore,
Is it?
was cancelled at half time because the pitches were reading 50 degrees heat. So we only got to play
Straight. Was
half the
that warm?
game. But we won anyway, so it was fine.
Congrats to you. So, do you still have like the medal?
Yeah,
Do you
yeah, we
keep it?
do. Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Where'd you have it now?
My daughter has them all in her drawer, and she pulls
Wow.
them out, and then now my younger daughter is like, "Where's all my medals?" But also, it's interesting you talk about medals because I did a high performance chat with a lady called Holly who played GB hockey,
Okay.
and she went to Olympics and won a medal. But she talks a lot about
Mm,
she has a medal because she's in the top 16, but there was
okay.
32
Wow.
players who made that happen. So
Wow.
for her, it's not about the medal, and she only brings the medals out when she's going to schools or motivation talks.
Mm,
For her, it's about the journey.
yeah.
For her personally, for the sport, and
Absolutely.
then for the friendships and the teammates that she,
Yeah. Oftentimes, like the team that you have, often that they become like friends for life.
Mhm.
Yeah, you kind of like cherish that, that relationship you had, winning, losing, and all of that together. Beautiful experience.
And that transfers over to business as well. Like, my
Yep.
first ever mastermind, I joined in before my first baby. So it must have been 2016, 2017. I still
Yeah.
have friends for life from that
Yeah,
mastermind.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. So, I mean, speaking of which, so you've been an elite athlete, and now you transitioned into the world of AI, and for business owners who are like making like crossover into AI, how do you see that experience for most of them? From your experience, coaching people like who've encountered AI for the first time, like how do you, like usher them into that world? You know.
It's actually not easy.
I reckon, yeah, as
It's
I
not
expect,
easy
yeah,
because there's so many, we all individually have so many limiting beliefs that kind of hold us back. I
of
call them
course,
like the mind monkeys.
yeah,
The first mind monkey is, I'm too old,
yep,
you know?
yeah,
And the first thing I say to that was, well, were you too old to transfer from your Nokia to your BlackBerry, from your BlackBerry to your smartphone?
mm-hmm,
No,
yeah.
you're
So you can
good.
figure this out
You're
as well,
good.
yeah,
Yeah, right. The next kind of mindset issue is, I'm not techie.
yeah. I
You
was gonna
know,
come to that as well.
yeah. And, I totally get that because actually I went through my whole uni life,
Mm,
definitely, even through my whole first businesses.
yeah,
outsourcing everything cost me a fortune, dug
Yeah.
into all my profits.
Yeah.
Because I literally had this mindset of, I couldn't do any of that. I couldn't write my own copy. I couldn't, do the back end of my website.
Yeah.
I can't do any of my accounting, like all of that. I mean, where does that come from?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Because even myself, right? Like, I think we had a conversation like prior to this, and I said, like, I'm always like a very late adopter for most like technological products. And even like with social media, like up until now, I still don't have a functioning Twitter account. Like, I'm still very like, I just can't get a hang of it. So I think I took that, that learning, and when, AI, obviously became, available for like general public, I'm like, this time around, I'm going to be among the first set of people to, be comfortable with this AI tool. And now I'm almost obsessed.
Yeah.
I mean, all my friends, like, I'm almost obsessed. I'm always like, any problem you bring to me, I'm like, yeah, there's an AI product for that. AI can fix it. I'm so obsessed with AI now. And it's like, it's literally every kind of problem that I think humans have. I feel like there's some way, somehow, like an AI product for it. And I'm sure you should know more about that.
Yeah, 100%. And I think on the website, there's an AI tool for that. I'm sure we're up to something like 250,000 AI tools available there between free and, we'd have to jump online and check. But for some reason, that number is kind of sticking in my head.
Wow.
So yeah, there is, and it's ever growing.
Yeah.
But it's also changing as well. Like now we talked about ChatGPT already, but we know there's Claude and Perplexity and Gemini and Grok and Llama.
Yeah.
But actually there's platforms now where you can utilize them all on one platform. And that's actually where I think, especially entrepreneurs and those in like SME world should really start to head, where they have their own almost white label AI platform that can access many AI models, but is also trained on the knowledge data that makes their business their business.
Interesting, right?
I think there's a really big skill that people don't realize that you need when using AI, which is prompt engineering, which is how you communicate.
Yeah.
However, the AI models are getting so smart now that I would say 2023, you probably, use something like, be my expert SEO content writer, write me a blog for this company with this outcome, right? And then 2024, we wanted to give it a bit more domain expertise or a bit more knowledge and a bit more context.
Okay.
But where I think we are now in 2025
Talk about it.
is more like using AI to be the prompt engineer. Be my expert prompt engineer.
Wow.
And be my expert prompt
That's
engineer.
new.
Is it?
Yeah, that's new, because I'm thinking I'm doing it right. I'm thinking like, obviously I'm taking the front seat, I'm taking the driver's seat, and I'm literally like driving the conversation and giving the prompt. But now you're taking it next level.
Okay.
So now even AI should do the prompt engineering for you. Wow. Talk about it.
So definitely, you want AI to do the prompt engineering for you. Be my expert prompt engineer and help me create the prompt needed to get this outcome.
Okay.
But I always say, however, I need you to also be able to interview me so that you can get my domain expertise.
Wow.
And domain expertise is your knowledge and experience and your perspective.
Okay.
Whether that's on a topic, whether that's within your business, whether that is you even regurgitating things you've learned.
Yeah.
We all have, even if we had the same job role, we all have our own domain expertise.
Okay.
And I think that's a really important concept to probably go over, because one of the big issues we get with especially marketers and content creators is, I'm just getting generic content out, Yeah, I just get, and we see, AI content this, and it looks like the same as that. And it's like, well, of course it does.
I was going to come to that as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So prompt engineering, have your AI be your prompt engineer and have your AI be your interviewer and help you get across your domain expertise. Because sometimes we don't know what we don't know. Like, I would have expected you to know that, but you didn't quite know that yet.
Yeah,
and I didn't realize that many people didn't know that, So you've got to have these conversations.
Yeah. So before we expand the conversation, right, for a person who's watching now and is like, what does she know? Like, who does she think she is to tell me how to do like AI? Can you just reel out your CV, just your expertise or your case studies, or just to demonstrate that this conversation would hopefully help someone from the information and knowledge that you have? Just a bit of context.
Whew, okay.
In terms of like your experience with AI, your journey, your wins, and Yeah.
Well, I'd say my superpower is being able to take your business structure and your personal goals and directions
Okay.
and be able to put that into a bigger picture of how AI is going to do it with you. I think that's like probably my biggest superpower.
Okay.
I think I often get an opportunity to work with solopreneurs
Okay.
or busy, multi-passionate entrepreneurs that have quite a few different projects going on,
I know
maybe
about
have
that life.
teams,
Yeah.
and they're super ambitious, but they're
Yeah.
overwhelmed.
Mm.
And they're not realizing that their mental load
Yeah.
of everything that's going on is actually slowing them down.
Mm.
And so the first step is we always introduce their own AI model
All right.
that is their CEO sidekick or their executive assistant.
Brilliant.
So that's kind of where we always start. And I'd say that's a superpower of working with the leader within businesses to start with. A really good case study I have is of an awesome VA,
Okay.
so virtual assistant.
Yeah.
Joanne's her name, and she came to me. She had 21 clients,
Okay.
and she was using AI, so she wasn't new. You know,
Okay.
she's still an early adopter. She's using it to do a lot of her tasks, and
All
she's
right.
open. She's really open with her clients about it.
Yep.
But she had different chats
Hmm.
in Claude, in Notebook LM, which is an amazing tool, by the way, and in ChatGPT. And she had different chats for each
Okay.
of her clients.
Okay.
And she's kind of known as the systems VA. Like, she helps business owners create their systems. She's like, I didn't really have a system at all. It was taking me more time to find these chats than not.
Yeah.
So we introduced her own AI assistant for each of her clients.
Is that a thing?
Yeah. So that is...
It's a lot to learn.
That's basically, my Done For You program. We create AI assistants within your AI model.
Okay.
And anyone can do it. It's super easy. You know, I could teach you in 5 minutes how to do it. It's more you need the strategy to think about what's the most useful. Would it be helpful to go through the steps to do it?
Yeah. Run us quickly. Yeah. So what will be like your quick 1, 2, 3 steps?
Okay.
Bam, bam, bam. Yeah.
First steps are train AI to sound like you. You need to give it the knowledge base about you, your mission, your vision, your values, if you're working with your company, it's your company products, services, just a little bit of how you write.
I reckon that would be more more feasible now that AI can it's got memory and can remember stuff. Because I think there's been like an update to ChatGPT particularly.
Yeah.
Because I used to have a challenge before where it's like I'm like, okay, so I'm trying to start this business. This are the values, the mission, vision. Then we have a quick chat about it. Then 2 weeks down the line, I'm like, so remember that business I told you about? It's like, sorry, I don't remember. I don't have memory. I'm like, so do I have to tell you all over again? And it's like, so you have to remind me. And that's very frustrating. But I think the most recent update with ChatGPT now, it's got that, that capability to remember stuff and keep stuff in memory. So you can always just pick up from where you left off.
Yeah, absolutely. However, the next step is to be really strategic with it and customize it.
Okay.
So you add that into the customization of your AI.
Wow.
And you can do that even on the free plan.
Wow.
And the key is to give it the knowledge base. You've got to give it that knowledge base. And that can always be updating, and your memory will update that. But give it the knowledge base first and help AI to do it for you. All you do is ask me 10 questions that will achieve exactly that knowledge, vision, mission, all of that. And and ask it, is there anything else that you think you should know
You're next
to help
level
me,
with it.
right? And then you just go to Otter AI or
Yeah.
Fireflies, which is an AI note-taking tool, and you just talk to it and rattle it off. Save that, put the transcription into AI and say, this is my personal knowledge base. And then you save that in your customization. But that's just the first step, because the second step is creating your own AI assistant, which is projects.
Okay.
And for example, I have a newsletter project.
Yeah.
And what I do with my newsletter project is I have customized it with all of my knowledge base, which I'm adding to it. And I'm going
Okay.
to tell you how I add to it in a minute, because it's quite a good little tip.
Yes, please.
But I've also customized it. You are an expert newsletter and article writer for LinkedIn.
Okay.
Right? The aim is to help me daily construct an update that is going to add X, Y, Z to my readers. I want you to have this tone. I want you to always respond like this. And I put the structure of my newsletter in there.
Wow.
So then what happens is every Monday, I have via ChatGPT tasks. Have you heard of ChatGPT tasks?
No.
It's on the paid version, which is $20 a month. It is, I set up a task that every Monday I get an email that has gone through all of the week's AI updates relevant to my 4 key pillars, which is thought leadership. It is business with AI tools.
Yeah.
It is AI trends or next tools coming out.
Yeah.
And it's hidden powers of AI. So lots of updates. So ChatGPT new memory, for example, that's an update.
Yeah.
And it goes away and it searches all the sources. I've given it a list of ones as well.
Yeah.
And it will go away. It then finds them, puts them together and puts it into a brief that works for me to read.
Interesting.
And then that gets emailed to me and it also comes up as a notification on ChatGPT.
Wow.
I simply take that, I upload that into my newsletter AI assistant, and then boom, it gives me my newsletter for LinkedIn like that.
Wow.
Created. I always do this though, and this is really important. Always, once I've done it, ask me questions that will bring out my authenticity and my domain expertise. And I'll quickly double it. Newsletter done, 20 minutes. There it is.
Wow.
I have 28 of those assistants, by the way.
Wow. I mean, 5 years ago, right? 10 years ago, maybe, that would have taken more than like a week with about 2-3 people on the job to get it that efficient.
Yeah.
And now 20 minutes, bam, you're done.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant. So if someone's listening now and is brand new to this, right, this whole world of AI, and maybe a little like intimidated, what's one low-key, easy-to-use AI tool that you kind of recommend to just try out? Just get your feet wet a little bit. Like, what product would you recommend as a starter? Just kind of get to the swing of things.
Perplexity.
I thought ChatGPT was what she would have said.
No. I tell you why.
Tell me.
Because Perplexity is so easy to use. It's similar to Google, and you can almost use it like Google.
Really?
So, for example, how did I use it just recently? Okay, I need to find out the top 5 AI note-taking tools.
Okay.
Compare them all with prices, Trustpilot reviews, Google reviews. You can. You could pretty much say anything, and you could just say who is it for, because each person's going to need an AI tool, note-taking tool for differently. So not only does it give it to you, it also cites the sources of which it got it from, which comes up. So then you can go and check an article out, right?
Wow.
But then it always has at least 3, most of the time 5 follow-up questions, which you hadn't thought about asking. And then that's a great way to use it, because that's the next step. Perplexity can link to ChatGPT model, Claude.
Like a back-end link.
Gemini. Or you just click the model you want to use.
Wow.
Its default, I think, is called Sonar, Sonar, I think.
Wow.
Sonar. That's its default model. But you can choose other models.
Yeah.
You can save any of your chats into spaces.
Yeah.
And you can do deep research. And I highly recommend it. Every business at least once a week is doing a deep research task. I'm talking about a SWOT analysis as an example.
Okay.
Every business should be doing that.
Wow.
And that would take you days. You press deep research on Perplexity, deep research on Google, Gemini, deep research. Even Grok has deep research, which is XAI.
Yeah.
And ChatGPT have deep research. 100% you
Is
should
that like
be
an
doing
extra
it.
feature or like an extra...
It's free now on ChatGPT.
Okay.
You can have 5 a month, but that's how powerful it is.
Wow.
And I think the key kind of next steps once you do that is it's like your Google. You're just starting to use it and realizing how Perplexity can help you. Here's a fun fact, which I think is something marketers should and business owners should really keep note of. Perplexity is in talks with TikTok to be inside the TikTok platform as its AI model, because Grok is in X. So if you went and did a post on X and I clicked on that, on the side, I could talk to Grok about you and anything you've discussed, and everything about you, your LinkedIn page, your social media, your website, all comes up on Grok inside of X.
Wow. Does this raise concerns regarding like ethics and data breach and all of these concerns? What's your take on it?
Yeah. So
This is scary.
It is. I mean, there's an AI tool called Humanoid AI, which you can put your
I've
name
heard
in and
about that
find
one.
everything about you and all of these things. It is pretty crazy. I'm going to start by saying I'm definitely not an expert by any means on any type of ethics, data security, anything like that.
Yeah.
I think being an entrepreneur, I just think, everything smells like roses.
Of course.
Everything's really
Of course.
positive. I have to do a lot of collaborations with people,
Yeah.
that have that kind of brain
Yeah,
wave, because that
yeah.
is not mine. So I'll start by saying that. But what I will also say is you can have data security on all of your accounts. As an
Okay.
example, in ChatGPT, you just go to security, you go to settings, you go to security, you go to data controls, and you can toggle off the
Okay.
bit that says use my data to train.
All right.
Okay.
That's actually good information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you've got a Teams account,
Yeah.
nothing is shared at all.
Okay.
So your IP is kind of saved there. I personally leave it on, and this is why I personally leave it on. I think as society, as
Yeah.
early adopters to this amazing technology, we actually have a role to play
Mm.
in helping AI learn emotional intelligence, how we communicate, what our domain expertise is now.
Yeah.
Because my oldest daughter's 7. In 10 years' time, she's going to have her own AI agent helping her at uni.
Wow.
What if I kept everything back?
Mm.
Me and everybody else kept everything back. She's only going to have the AI knowledge that AI had from when it was first trained.
Yeah.
I do think as society we've got a job to play
Yeah.
in training the AI. Is my personal opinion. But there was a recent TED Talk by Sam Altman who talked about, it's a really good one, by the way, who talked about like IP, and
Okay.
he said that they would love to get to a point where they're able to come up with some type of monetization scheme
Okay.
that allows creatives and those that have written a book to whatever to get some
remunerated
royalties
for content
Yeah.
that they
But such a big job. Who knows what it looks like?
yeah, that'll be complex to do.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
then if we think all the knowledge we know now is because other people went out there and shared their information.
Of course.
I mean, if you take Bruno Mars as a singer,
Yeah,
he was very inspired by Michael Jackson.
of course.
Does that mean that he needs to pay Michael Jackson IP for that? I
mean,
don't know.
I could go down that rabbit hole as the AI and music industry and the creative sector, but obviously, this is your domain, so we'll probably not, go into that because it's just gonna expand it. So for folks who don't feel super techy, obviously you've talked about that, and still feel like AI is not very accessible. I think you've pretty much touched on that, but people who feel like, they're kind of like just kind of starting out, how can you encourage them to not feel overwhelmed and just kind of take it, one step at a time? What's your take on that?
Yeah. Download Perplexity or ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Just open it up. Start talking to it. Start asking. You can use the voice mode as well.
Yeah.
I hope people don't think I'm crazy, but every morning after I've dropped the girls off at school and I'm on my way to the gym,
Yeah.
I open up ChatGPT, open up the voice mode, and just start talking to it.
I do that a lot as well.
Yeah.
I do that a lot as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do that a lot as well. And it kind of helps you like put things in perspective and just kind of help you like structure your thought process and just kind of make sense of the noise in your head a lot of times.
Yeah, brain dump.
Yeah, which obviously is very good. For business owners, right, whom, are already like stressed thin with the many things they have to do, with the many like aspects of their business that they're covering, how much time does it really take to set up AI up and running and functional?
2 minutes. 2 minutes. Like you literally download it on your phone or you go to ChatGPT. I think it's OpenAI/ChatGPT or something on the website. Or, Copilot is now in your emails. Meta AI, which is Llama, is in your WhatsApp. Like we're using it without realizing we're using it. And
That's
believe
true,
it or
actually.
not, we're talking about generative AI tools here.
Yeah.
The layer above that is deep learning. We've been using deep learning for ages. Think Siri, think Alexa,
True, actually.
think social media algorithms.
Yeah.
We're using it already.
True.
It's
Yeah.
not this big thing that you need to try or you need to buy a course about.
Yeah,
You
'cause
just don't need it.
I
Just
agree.
open and start
I
using
agree
it.
because I guess I'm coming from the perspective of like not feeling privileged that I already kind of know certain things. So I guess I'm kind of like, looking at it from the perspective of someone who is probably in a remote community somewhere running like a bakery, family business, who's like, what's this AI thing? Where do I start? Where do I buy it? Like, I guess I'm kind of like, speaking to the heart of such a person who's like, do I need to buy something? Is it like a hardware, software, all the kind of...
Everything is free. Like there's obviously different models, but everything is free. Like here's an example. I had a meeting with somebody who didn't know much about AI either. He just started a podcast, believe it or not, but he'd just come out of sports coaching development and moved into executive coaching.
Okay.
And when we had the conversation, I just said, I'm just going to record this on Otter. And we recorded on Otter. I sent him the link, and
Okay.
he is able to talk to Otter AI inside the link that I sent him, which just comes up on his phone or on his
Wow.
laptop, and just said, I remember Marnie talking to me about the top 3 things I should do once I've launched this podcast.
Yeah.
And then Otter goes through the conversation and lists it for him.
Wow.
There you go, start there. Put Otter AI on, have a talk to someone in your team, another colleague, another business owner, your partner,
Yeah.
just record it and then start talking and then ask it questions.
Definitely
And
trying
then
that
you'll
out.
start to realize, 1, that was free, 2, it took me 2 minutes to set up, and 3, wow, AI can actually do a lot for me.
I'm definitely trying that out. Definitely trying it out. And for like, again, a business owner who feels like every other day I'm on like social media scrolling, there's this pop-up ad, pop-up this, pop-up that, many AI products trying to sell me, their services. But someone who's like, oh, this is a lot. I don't even have to sift through it. How would you, advise that kind of person who feels like it's just a lot to figure out? There's a lot of hyped AI products. How can I determine which is actually good from which is just, just hype and doesn't live to expectation? Do I have to try every single one out to know which one I'm going to, use in my business?
Yeah, you've got to use the experts that have done the 10,000 hours.
Of course.
No, find, 1 or 2 newsletters that you get in your inbox. Find 2 or 3 podcasts to follow. I can list my favorites and just get into a habit of listening and reading those things, because knowledge is power. It will help you through. And do not be sold on any course or anything until you've tried it yourself, because it just becomes overwhelming otherwise.
Yeah.
I spoke to a guy last week who said, oh, I've bought this AI, I think it was a Chat GPT beginner to pro course. I was like, oh, awesome. How was it? He goes, I haven't started it. And I was like, have you used Chat GPT at all? And he said, no. And I said, why are you buying a course? But I guess people think that they need a course to learn how to do it. But you don't buy a course on riding a bike. You get on a bike and you start riding. Okay?
Good point.
Like you learn to drive. You can't buy a course on learning to drive. You can buy someone to help you.
Yeah.
And guess what? YouTube and your newsletters are the people that help you.
Yeah.
But you've got to get in the car and you've got to start doing it.
Absolutely.
You cannot learn to drive by reading a course. That is just the
Absolutely.
bottom line.
Absolutely.
My favorite podcasts are AI Explored,
Okay.
which is amazing. Matt Wolf has one called Future Tools, I believe. And the other one's coughed my head, but I'm in it literally all the time. I'm on that one. But you when you just search on, you find a person that you like to listen to, the information, just subscribe, save it, and just stay, even if it is literally 1 hour spread over the week, it will be the best 1 hour you ever invest in yourself and your business, and if you have any family, in your children as well.
Brilliant talk. Definitely brilliant talk. And for a small business, or for the businesses you've worked with, small, big, whichever the size, what kind of like mistakes do you see people making in their initial exposure or their initial adoption of AI? So hopefully we can avoid them, hopefully.
Yeah, I think it's getting sold tools. This tool will do this for me, but not understanding really where it fits into your workflow. And what then becomes is all these separate tools, quite separated. Which is then I've got an AI tool for this and an AI tool for that and an AI tool for that. There's no kind of workflow. I think that's probably the biggest mistake. And then I guess for me, and I'm not sure if it will resonate with everybody, but I almost have like 2 or 3 AI tools that do the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And which is why I asked the question initially, like, how can you determine which one is, maybe there's none really, but for a person who feels like, okay, I'm trying to like do maybe voice to text or voice to speech, there's many products saying they can do this. So do I need to try out all of this one before I find out, okay, this is the one for that, that's the one for this? Like, how do you, but like you said, talk to Marnie then. If you can't do it, then talk to the pros who have done their 1,000 hours, definitely. So obviously there are a number of like repetitive tasks that you have to like just do, like very laborious tasks like within your business, like maybe inventory or this or that. And what kind of like processes or functionalities within a small business do you think people can trust AI, can entrust onto AI's hands and it can just pretty much hands off and do other productive things, what kind of mundane tasks do you think AI has been able to perfect that they can trust? Don't worry about this one. There's an AI product for it. Focus on other productive things. What 2-3 key functions or processes would you say?
Controversially, I'm going to say none.
Is it?
Yeah. I'm going to say that because I think you need to know about all of your processes within a business, and then you need to add automations. Now,
Right.
automations are different from AI-focused workflows. And then after automations become your agents. Now, I don't think we're there with agents yet, although it's definitely coming. And we know there's some AI tools out there that are agentic. So you can go away and say, do this research and create this website. And that is agentic. And
Of
Menace
course.
AI does that.
Yeah.
Gen Spark does that as well. So
Okay.
there are a few tools that can do that.
Yeah.
We then backtrack a little bit and we're looking at automation. So Zapier, we know, is quite a popular automation tool. I've been using Zapier actually since before ChatGPT.
Interesting.
And that is the tool that you give it a trigger. So maybe it's an email that comes through with a subject headline that says invoices.
Okay.
And then you have that connect to your spreadsheet. And then it will add that invoice to the spreadsheet. Then you can have
Okay.
another trigger that then maybe sends it to ChatGPT and creates a reply. And then it can send it back to your email draft and you can approve it. So you can do those, but they're automations.
Okay.
Now, would I trust that? Yes. But as long as I, as the human, was doing the last check before it goes out.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people who teach the automations all the way through. You know, that there's an automation that we have actually set up. But again, we do the posting, but we basically have Appify scrape some websites for some leads for us. I'm talking about in my early years physical education business. We have another tool that links to humanoid AI, which learns about the people that are on that list.
Yeah.
Lots of things about the company, the business. We then send that to Claude, who writes our little DM. We then send that to what is the email called? Send mail. Oh, I can't remember what the platform's called. Sorry. It sends that to enrich the data to make sure it's good data.
Yeah.
And then from there we get email come through to say that this is who you should target, and this is the direct message you should say.
Yeah.
So we're adding that little extra bit, but you don't have to add that little bit. It can do it
But
for
Marnie,
you.
you promise us this is simple. It doesn't feel simple.
No, it doesn't, and that's why I don't do a lot of them.
Yeah.
Because again, I said I'm not techie,
Of
and
course.
at this point in time, I don't trust the AI and the processes yet myself.
Okay.
I am still at the beginning stage of AI workflows. That is where I'm at. I have a few automations, but I'm not an expert at it. Have I used a few agents? A few.
Yeah.
We're getting there. And, you know, if I'm privileged enough to come back on the podcast this time next year,
Yes, please.
I'll probably have some agents going.
Of course. Because I feel like maybe at this stage we are in now, we can't necessarily entirely hands off. We kind of need to just kind of partner with AI now. So we're yet to get to a point where we can actually trust AI and hands off like a robot to kind of like just take it and just, complete it.
We're not there.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I think that's kind of exciting not to be there. Like,
Yeah, I'd have to
let's
agree.
not run before we can walk.
I would have
Let's
to
enjoy
agree.
walking.
Yeah, I'd have to agree.
And the bit that we're enjoying walking is, you know, just feeling superhuman, super confident, you know, that AI is helping you do things like that. It's
Yeah.
just amazing.
So from your perspective, which is more dangerous, AI making mistakes or human trusting AI too much? I think we just talked on it, but what would you say?
Human trusting AI too much.
I'd have to agree that, you know, we just completely like just outsourcing AI, just do it all. I think that's more dangerous. I'd have to agree.
And we do see that. Sorry to carry on with this point, but
That's all
we
right.
do see that in marketing. I mean, how many AI, YouTube's, shorts, you know, content is out there?
Yeah.
And again, it's regurgitated stuff
Of
because
course.
whoever's producing it is not putting really putting some strategical thought in how to make it authentically them. And I think that's a bit sad. And I think we got to that point because we were on this content machine. You had to, you know, we were at the point probably last year where it was just content after content after
Of
content.
course, yeah.
Or even, you know, like Instagram stories. It's changed now. The algorithm
keeps
says only
changing.
five stories. But last year or 2023, you know, you got rewarded if you had 20 stories on your Instagram.
It's just a lot. It's a lot to keep tabs on. It's a lot to keep
So
tabs
no wonder
on.
we wanted a shortcut.
Yeah.
But let's stop here and remember the good content from AI is the one where you've added your knowledge and experience to your thoughts, your perspective. It doesn't mean that AI can't help you do it. It will help you do it 50% faster,
Yeah.
like minimum,
Yeah.
you know. But I think we should all really take care in making sure that we are adding that human aspect.
Absolutely. Yeah. To add to that point, which obviously will be my next question, would be personally, I feel like when I want to like reach out to a business, maybe for complaints or more information, and I just see like a message or like a chat box, and I type my message and I see an AI response, I just kind of tune off. So for like businesses who feel like, we've grown our business having that personal touch, that human angle to it. For people like who feel concerned, like, am I just gonna, have like a robot or like a chat box just deal with my customers and just be very cold and computer-like? I kind of want to keep that human touch. What would you say to that in terms of like people who feel like, I want to write content, but trusting ChatGPT or any AI product to write content for me would feel a bit like, very impersonal? Or my customer support interactions will feel like impersonal if AI takes over the chat box. What will what's your thoughts on, content and customer service and AI being like in the front of such touch points?
Okay, here's my perspective, which
Yes,
you might
please.
not like. But if you're a business owner and I'm coming to you,
Yeah.
and I really want to get really good information from you,
Yeah.
but it's 10 o'clock at night.
Okay.
But you know that I'm the type of person that should be using you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know you're the type of person I want to work with.
Okay.
Is it better for me to chat to your AI on your website or on your Instagram page?
Yeah.
Or even on your WhatsApp, because that's where we're heading,
Okay.
where I know that I can ask some simple questions
Yeah.
and get the answers that you've already trained
Okay.
your AI to know and talk like you.
Yeah.
Okay. Therefore, not only am I getting what I want,
Yeah.
and I'm building trust because you're still giving me the knowledge I know, and
Of course.
you've primed me to say, this is my knowledge.
Okay.
However, this is my AI avatar giving it to you.
Yeah.
Okay. I get what I want. Perfect. Great. I schedule a call with you to talk at 9 o'clock in the morning
Okay.
and not 10 o'clock at night. And you know that I've coming to you for a 9 o'clock meeting,
Yeah.
knowing that I'm not wasting your time,
Of course.
because I've already
Yeah, you've
gone
been
and got
qualified
the
already.
quick questions that I needed.
Yeah.
And if you weren't a right fit for me, I'd disappear and go find someone else.
Of course.
So my perspective is, I think we should all have our own AI avatars everywhere for people to talk to us and get to know us first without the human connection. And the human connection should be the bit that is the service provider.
Yeah.
We talk about in business that knowledge should be free.
Yeah.
Or information is free.
Mm-hmm.
Implementation is a fee.
Of course. Yeah. Very clever. Very
So
clever.
you've still got
so
knowledge that
cleverly.
you need to get out there.
Of course.
That should be free.
Yeah.
And you can't always be available to give that.
Yeah.
And how can you make an impact if it's just you all the time?
Yeah.
Multiply yourself with an AI avatar, which you have trained.
Yeah.
And this is, which we haven't spoken about, and this is the other superpower that I believe I have.
Yes, please.
I'm just giggling at myself for that. GPTs. On ChatGPT, you can use GPTs. They're trained GPTs. Oh my gosh, you were missing out.
I didn't know.
Oh,
School us, please, Marnie. School us, please.
So go onto your ChatGPT platform. On the left-hand side, go Explore GPTs.
Okay.
On Explore GPTs, you can talk to Alex Hormozi's GPT that is trained on all his books about marketing.
Wow.
You can talk to an SEO creator, a website creator, a logo creator. They're all trained.
Mind-blowing.
All trained to just give you that outcome, which is the AI assistants I'm talking about, but they're in GPTs.
Okay.
I have about 10 GPTs, all available. If you look them up, you can find them because they're all free. But I can't remember how I got on. GPTs. So with, I guess, the key, everybody who has some type of knowledge base or want to be able to share the way they do things are creating GPTs for people to use. And they're using them as lead magnets, right? Or they're giving it as extra value for clients.
That's new to me.
That is definitely where things are going, 100%. I think any experts within their field should have their own generative preformed trainers to to be able to share their knowledge and experience. But there's a really cool platform called Vox AI. I think it's Coach Vox AI, actually. And lots of experts have trained their own AI models, but it's behind a paywall. And then they're able to share that way.
Interesting.
But explore GPTs. It's amazing. When I was in Italy recently, my daughter got quite sick. And instead of Googling what to do, I found a GPT trained on the medical library.
Wow.
It was amazing. All
Amazing
free,
indeed.
all free.
Amazing indeed. Now let's talk about jobs and the apprehensions around AI. I think we mentioned it, or touched on it briefly earlier, but McKinsey says 800 million jobs could be displaced by 2030. And how can young professionals future-proof their careers? What are the roles that are emerging, and how can we prepare?
I think that stat also, the next element to that stat is something like 850,000 jobs will be created.
Yep.
Yeah. So we are losing the jobs, but are we losing the jobs, or are we losing the job titles? Are the skill sets changing?
I was going to come to that.
Yeah. You know, again, not a massive expertise of mine, but I am very invested in the next generation coming through, not only because of my own daughters, but I used to be a PE and science teacher. That's how I ended up here in the UK. And the biggest shift that I had, a little bit off topic, but the biggest shift I had from going from Australia, where everybody had this concept of lifelong learning. You wanted to be a lifelong learner. I came to the UK and we were teaching to assessment pieces. I remember my first assessment was like, here's a mock exam paper, go and teach that. So the education system needs a massive change anyway. And I think this is the perfect catalyst for it.
I agree.
The skill sets that we need to be giving the next generation is, how do they communicate? What questions do they ask? And how futuristic can they think?
Yeah.
Almost reverse engineer a situation.
I agree.
What is your outcome? Use AI to help you do the steps to get there.
Yeah.
Whereas the way that kids are learnt to or learnt generally are, this is where you start and you learn these things, and gosh knows what the outcome is. I mean, that's just my opinion and my perspective on
And
it.
I agree. Because I listened to a podcast, and there was a gentleman who, I mean, what the question was about, like, what's the future and how can we prepare for the future? And he said something around, like, the future doesn't necessarily belong to those who have the answers or who can, like, find the right solutions, but those who can ask the right questions.
100%.
Those who can ask the right questions.
100%.
I think that's how we can drive innovation. Like, how can we reverse engineer this whole thing? How can we, rather than focus on solutions, but how can we start to ask the right questions to determine what kind of things are we trying to solve?
And I think finally, we can really be inclusive of those with different learning styles or different learning abilities.
Yeah.
You know, for the last 20 years, it has been, this child can't do an exam because they've got ADHD, and this child is dyslexic, so they need to be in the special needs.
Yeah.
Well, how about we use the AI to help us create different learning environments
learning
for the people
systems,
that learn differently,
frameworks and all of that. Absolutely.
100%.
Just like you mentioned earlier, again, PwC also reports that 35% of jobs are at risk of automation. What industries do you think are most vulnerable?
Customer service. Customer service.
So for a person who's trying to have a career in customer service, what would you tell them now?
Oh gosh. Learn how to use AI to do your job faster and more effective, and come up with your own solutions.
Other than customer service, what else? Who else is not safe?
I think retail is going to change a little bit.
Wow.
I think it's going to be even easier to shop. Like ChatGPT now has a shop.
It's here already. Self-checkout and all of these different things.
Yeah, I think there's another change. So I know there's some software where you can walk into a shop. It takes your screen, takes your face.
I think Amazon is it Amazon? Yeah, I think they're that way. When you come in, it scans your face. You just go in, pick what you want to pick.
So next level is, it takes your face. It finds out all the information about all the things you've ever bought. And it gives you a catalogue of what you'd be interested in. And it shows you where to go in the store. So I think retail is changing. Education. Education.
Teaching.
Lecturers. I mean, I already saw something on TikTok where there was
China or Japan,
yeah. But even I saw this TikTok where there's a guy who's got his phone here and it's transcribing and it's putting it into his assignment on his laptop. He's got his earphones in and he's on a game. Crazy.
Crazy indeed. McKinsey again says AI adoption triples from 2017 to 2023. What three industries are seeing the real impact that are being like disrupted now from your
Marketing.
perspective?
Marketing. Really, really big on marketing.
Mm.
The other podcast that I was just reminded me that I wanted to talk about was Marketing Against the Grain,
All right.
which is the HubSpot podcast. Brilliant. Marketing is definitely disrupted massively. I mean, it's been disrupted even before, the adoption of ChatGPT, really, because of social search. No longer were people going on Google to find, a place to get their hair done. They were going on TikTok.
Yeah.
So marketing, definitely.
Yeah.
Media, like media creatives,
Yeah.
disruptive massively.
The disruption in the media industry is again phenomenal. I mean, there are products now where you don't even need to show your face. You can literally like just create like an avatar of yourself. I mean, that the entire like workflow, the entire value chain of content production has been disrupted. Every single touch point, disruption, which is again mind-blowing. And that's taking me to the next question. Again, McKinsey, I'm going to be quoting them. They said AI could add about $13 trillion to the global economy by 2030. What's the most exciting breakthrough AI could bring to two very important sectors, healthcare and education? But we're concerned about a lot of like terminal sickness like cancer and a lot of challenge to education, like you said, like teaching people of like diverse needs or peculiar needs. So how do you think AI can disrupt these two very vital industries?
So in healthcare, I don't have a lot of experience, but I did do a consultation with the lady who is the dermatology head doctor at Chelsea and Westminster, and they've created an AI program, is what they're calling it, of which it will scan the body for sun cancers, and it will give the predictions of what a normal dermatology doctor would do.
Yeah.
But it was something like it was up in the 80% success rate versus the doctor who had 64%.
Wow.
So that is just one of the bits that I know about, but healthcare is massive, and I think from the it's going to have such a big impact on us as humans.
Absolutely.
Living longer, treatments, generally how to look after ourselves.
Even like the Fitbit watches and all of that stuff as well.
Yeah, it's already been massive, but I think mental health is a big topic that it can go either way, like social media.
Yeah, of
right.
course, yeah.
We never, in 2008 when I'm first getting on Facebook, showing my age a little, but I'm first getting on Facebook, little did I know that 10 years later, it would be a bit of an obsession.
Yeah.
That would,
an addiction actually. Yeah.
Yeah. And we don't know what's going to happen with AI for that either. But I would say mental health. I think there's going to go two ways. There's going to be a lot of help available. You're going to have your own AI therapists and just information and companions, but then that could also go quite badly. Lack of social interaction, which we saw in COVID, reliance. I mean, there is crazy talk, and Gary Vee says this, people are going to be married to AI.
Yeah, it's happening already.
Yeah. So,
So education?
Yeah, so I think I've alluded to it already. I think we're all going to have our own AI journey. So I think my 7-year-old, when she's at uni, she'll have her own AI education journey through uni, and having maybe lecturers as more kind of tutors and mentors. Yeah. I still think that human interaction is very needed, by the way. Like I'm working on a keynote at the moment around AI taking away our mundane tasks and bringing back the opportunity to have more human connection, because we'll value it more. Like if we're talking to an AI all the time on here or on here, we're going to really value conversations. And I do think that is coming. But I think education, we're going to have a lot of, I think AI kind of education paths. So yeah.
Yeah. And how can we balance this innovation that you speak of with caution in AI development? Let's go there.
Yeah. Okay. Can you repeat the question?
I mean, how can we find a balance between innovation? How can we find that balance between caution and innovation with AI development? Because it seems like it's going out of control. The innovation, the pace of innovation is rather very, very fast paced. How can we still find that good balance between going all the way left and still kind of keeping things a bit sane, if I'll put it that way?
Really tough question.
Is that even possible? I mean,
don't
I
know
think
the
that'd be a
answer, but
question for the higher ups anyway. But I mean, from your perspective, what do you think? Being an expert, what can you recommend?
well,
Are you
I
concerned?
think, yeah,
Mm,
yeah, 100%. But I think I just need to have a little bit of trust in us as humans.
mm,
And I think we all generally are on this planet to do good.
mm.
I do surround myself with really impactful
Yeah,
businesses that are really making a difference. And I just think we do really all want to be here.
yeah.
I think our biggest need as humans is to be seen and heard.
Mm,
And then it is to feel a sense of purpose
yeah,
and to, feel like we're helping people. I mean, if we didn't as humans want to do that, there wouldn't be the millions of charities that we've got.
of course.
So I think with that in mind, I kind of just trust the process of when people are either creating AI softwares and tools or whether they're using it, they're just thinking, will this harm anybody?
Yeah.
Will this be a positive? What are kind of the negatives related to this? And just remembering that we are still humans.
Mm,
We still need to check things.
of course.
Although AI is technically smarter than us, it
Yeah.
doesn't have the emotional intelligence that we have.
Mm,
And I'm not sure when it ever will.
yeah.
So we still have to be adding that value from that perspective. So I guess I think my perspective is I kind of, again, smell the roses. I kind of just hope that people are thinking about making sure that any type of AI they're using, developing, they're just being creative, and the innovations are about helping people,
Yeah.
making an impact, bettering lives. But there is still something that we probably don't really aware of. And I know I wasn't, and I only read it the other week that
Yeah.
Sam Altman said that by us using please and thank you,
Yeah, it's costing.
yeah,
Yeah, I think I saw-
millions.
yeah.
And I did speak to a sustainability coach just this morning about it,
Yeah.
just to try and upskill myself.
Of course.
And it's still a really big kind of talking point.
Is it really? I just thought it was just like not a very serious call. I thought it was just like a joke. I didn't know it was actually a thing.
Yeah, it is.
Is it really
Because
a thing?
it's creating extra tokens.
Is it?
But I guess one perspective is, again, you're training the AI, so you want to talk to it. I always say to my daughter, speak to people the way you want to be spoken to.
Of course.
So it's kind of that same thing, but because it's extra tokens, and if everybody's using extra tokens every time, it is using extra energy,
So
extra
you're saying
water.
just an extra phrase,
Yeah,
an extra word
yeah.
is a problem, or is there like a larger conversation around that we're not hearing?
I think there might be a larger conversation that we're not hearing.
Yeah, because I mean, I would expect, because I try my best to be, like you rightly said, speak to people as you want to be spoken. So I take my AI as just like an actual person, and obviously, if I want you to, maybe give me more favorable answers, I should be a bit polite to you, not because I'm trying to be manipulative or something. I just think it's just normal courtesy.
Yeah.
Like, okay, after you've helped me, like you've literally like cut down my production or my productive hours by more than like 100%. Like you rightly mentioned, now a task that could have taken like 2 weeks, you get it done in 20 minutes. It's only fair to say thank you.
100%
I'll
agree.
think so. I'm surprised there's a wider conversation around that being a problem. And I still can't get my head around that.
I don't think it'll be addressed anyway. I think
Yeah.
there's bigger problems to fry.
Yeah,
but I think with the sustainability, the conversation I had this morning is, we had a sustainability issue the minute we moved to electricity, the minute we moved from, trains to cars.
There's always
We
gonna
have that
be,
problem, but I think we need to kind of trust in the AI's ability to help solve these big,
Absolutely.
world problems that, that's kind of what we're all relying on.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. So on a final note, what does a meaningful life look like in a world where technology, AI handles every important and mundane task? What's that world going to look like? Are you looking forward to it, or you're not very keen?
Oh, gosh, I am so excited.
Are you?
Yeah.
I'm thinking like because I feel like we find purpose, we find meaning in like the mundane, in the very ordinary, right? So I feel like if everything gets outsourced to AI, I feel like life would just feel very uninspiring.
Oh,
That's what I think. Like
yeah.
it might just feel it might feel somehow, in the initial days, like we're experiencing now, it might feel very soothing, very relieving, very freeing and all of that. But I feel like ultimately, that's my thought anyway, it just might, at some point in time, might get very, 'cause obviously we don't know how this would turn out in the next like 20, 30 years, but I'm not very enthused about AI taking over every simple thing we can do.
Can I paint you a picture?
Please.
It's a Monday morning, you are walking along the beach, you have dropped the children off at school, you're walking the dog, you have your AI glasses on, and you're talking to your AI agents about the tasks that need to be done this week to make you money. You ask your other agent to go and do the tasks that are serving the charity that you've set up to make an impact in somewhere in the world. You are creating information to share to other people that have been in your shoes to help them along the journey quicker and faster. You get to the end of the stretch of the beach.
Yeah.
You jump in the car. You go to the gym. You are listening to...
All right, Marnie, that's all right. It's good. It looks good. It's a good picture. It's a good picture. So I'll let you have that one. It's a good picture. So I mean...
Robots will be given a particular set of skill sets and things to be able to follow on with. And it comes down to different AI models, right? So your machine learning AI has a set of data and they were able to learn from that data. Then you've got your deep learning who were given data and then they were able to follow instructions to a certain parameters. Then we have generative AI, which is able to create new things, but again, only from the training data. So we as humans can create those robots. We're the ones that create them. And we have to be the smart ones that only give them certain parameters to do, right? Where we do need to think about is the AI agents, which is agentic, whereas when things become autonomous, it is, or a system becomes autonomous, or a training program becomes autonomous, it is, here's what you are asked to do, but because you can source knowledge from anywhere, you can go in this direction or this direction, and I don't tell you that as the human, you decide as the agent. But again, that program is all connected to what we use as electricity.
Of course.
So we still have the switch on and off.
I hope.
And as long as we are not creating the robots that are too agentic.
Aren't we though?
Yeah, I think we are, but I think it's further away than we think. And I do think lots of us are kind of going, hold on a minute, just take it easy. Let's walk before we can run.
Of course.
But I think on a positive note,
yes, please.
I think we still have a lot of time. And I think we, again, and I know I've said this, but really want to harp on about it, is we have such an important job to play. I just think, I don't know, looking back at history, which other generation were ones making a real impact, not just the leaders within a tribe, if we think ancestors, or, in governments or wars, we're the actual people on the ground really making a difference. And I think it's such an exciting time.
Absolutely such an exciting time. And for business, for small business, for a young professional, upwardly mobile, trying to get ahead in their career, a business trying to expand, trying to scale. And they feel like this information has been very valuable, and they feel like all the knowledge you've shared seems like what they want. How can they contact you? Are you taking on new clients? How can they reach out to you? Can you just, give a quick, description of how they can, reach out?
So LinkedIn is probably where I hang out the most.
Okay.
You could send me a DM on there. You could book a call. We could do a 30-minute strategy call. I've got a couple of free trainings. I've got Train AI to Sound Like You. I've got 5 AI assistants every business owner needs. I have my weekly newsletter. Following along there. I think the great thing about my job now is that I get to speak to so many different people in so many different industries, all because around one common theme of AI. So the more unique the industry, the even better.
Speaking of which, on the final note, what would consider weird, uncanny, the most unexpected industry that you've had to work with a client? The most random?
Yeah, really random. I had absolutely no experience. Is a company called Plank, and they create sustainable furniture from denim.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Wow. So clearly, irrespective of what you do, you're a farmer, you red chickens, you sew clothes, you're a fashion company, tech, you take all of them.
Yeah, and I can help you.
Brilliant.
Work smarter, faster, more creative, and have fun on your AI journey.
There's no better way to end this. Thank you very much for your time, Marnie.
Thank you.
It's a beautiful conversation.